update. Rescue workers fish a car out of the ocean. It went over a cliff at Pismo Beach.
I think they knew what they were doing. They had some fairly sophisticated glassware to make the drugs.
A lab for making methamphetamines is found in Santa Barbara County. And Mitch Massey starts a preview of local high school football, one of the best quarterbacks in the state, right here on the Central Coast. All this and more next.
You're watching KSBY TV. And now, KSBY News Update with Rick Martell and Sandra Moss. Weather with Mike McCartney and Mitch Massey on sports.
A real stumper tonight for local lawmen. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sandra Moss. And tonight, Pismo Beach firemen are wondering what led up to a cliff rescue this afternoon. As Dan Kerman reports tonight, they did make a save, but they didn't save a person.
What you see in the water is a Dodge Diplomat, which at one time was an airport police car. Authorities believe no one was in the car when it sailed off this cliff above the Dinosaur Cave sometime this afternoon.
We sent a couple firemen with surfboards to walk down to the bottom of the cliff. They took the surfboards over to the vehicle and made sure that the vehicle was secure before they got too close to it. Looked inside, and they were not able to find anyone inside the vehicle. Firemen assisted and wrapped the cable around the vehicle to bring it up, but it's a mountainous side here, and there's a lot of ledges, and at once or twice the car got stuck on a ledge coming up, but it went up fairly easily.
The towing turned into a spectator sport that brought out some 150 people. And even though it went over the side during broad daylight, authorities can only speculate what happened because apparently no one saw it go over.
Can't tell right now. Someone may have just pushed the car over.
This vehicle is heavy, but once you know it's not the largest thing Skip Couts has pulled up from these coastal waters.
Three pieces. One of those parking lot sweepers came up in three pieces. The vacuum fell off the truck.
And that vehicle weighed about a ton. In Shell Beach, Dan Kerman, KSBY Action News.
Authorities say cars go over the side of cliffs a few times a year. Often it's not accidental. It's because the car is stolen. At this point, though, officials don't believe this car is stolen. A head-on collision near Lompoc tonight. 3 people are in Lompoc Hospital. 78-year-old Bertha Munson of Lompoc was driving north on Highway 101 when, for some reason, she swerved into the southbound lane. Her car ran into a van driven by Eugene Humphrey of San Bernardino. He and his wife, Gloria, are also in Lompoc Hospital tonight, all 3 with major injuries. Tonight, police say what appeared to be an attempted shooting was a case of mistaken identity. Yesterday afternoon, somebody shot at Robin Thomas while he was riding his motorcycle home from work. Thomas, you'll recall, is the father of Ryan Thomas, a boy well known in Atascadero for his fight to attend public school. Ryan Thomas has AIDS. Police don't know who fired at Thomas, but tonight the culprit came forward. A 17-year-old turns himself in to police saying he fired a cap gun at Thomas. He said he thought Thomas was somebody else. He offered to apologize to the family in person, but the Thomases says that wasn't necessary. They're just glad it's all over. Sheriff's deputies in Santa Barbara County tonight are wondering who left behind an elaborate drug lab. Hunters found the lab yesterday in a remote area east of Santa Maria. In it, chemicals used to make methamphetamines and maybe PCP. Lawmen say it was a large-scale operation abandoned a while ago. It is the second drug lab ever found in Santa Barbara County, and they say they may never know who built it. Sewage is causing a critical problem for Los Osos. Septic tanks have been blamed for the increase of dangerous elements in the groundwater. The town is at least 2 years behind schedule for installing a sewer system and treatment plant. As environmental reporter Mark Mathis tells us tonight, the problem could bring growth to a screeching halt.
Problem. Water used by residents of Los Osos is not treated. It leaches back into the water table through septic tanks. The Regional Water Quality Control Board blames that system for the increase of nitrates and other dangerous elements in the groundwater. Solution? Build a treatment plant and install a sewer system. That mandate came in 1983 with a deadline of November 1st, 1988. But another environmental concern has delayed the project by at least 2 years.
We had a most difficult time siting where the sewage effluent, which would be reclaimed, would be disposed. There were problems principally with the kangaroo rat, a rare and endangered species, and that's the Morro Bay kangaroo rat.
But the county feels it has that problem solved. This site has been chosen to dump the treated water with no impact to the rats. And this location has been selected to build a plant. But federal grants will pay for only a portion of the costs, which creates another problem.
It looks like an individual homeowner might be faced with a sewer bill in the order of up to $50 a month. When you're talking about sewer charges like that, of course it's controversial.
We've got a lot of old people in this area, and I think that it's gonna cost them a few bucks every month for tie-up. I don't know how they're gonna keep on eating.
Well, what do you think will happen to them?
Well, I think they'll have to sell and move to another area where they don't have these problems.
Residents will also have to pay for a house lateral to hook up to the system and seal their old tank. The average cost, about $2,000. The county hopes to complete the project in 1990. In Los Osos, Mark Mathis, KSBY, Action News.
The Water Quality Control Board will meet with the county on September 4th. If the board is satisfied with county progress, the 1988 deadline may be extended. If not, a septic tank ban could be imposed. Sewage is causing a messy problem in Los Angeles, but city leaders think they have a great solution. Los Angeles has too much sewage to deal with, and because of a settlement prohibiting dumping into the Pacific Ocean, they needed somewhere else to put it. Well, tonight they're looking at Guatemala. The sewage will be processed into sludge and used as fertilizer. It will cost the city about $6 million a year to haul all that stuff around. A new facility was dedicated today in Santa Maria. It's a $4 million medical building that will house an adult daycare center, a long-term care unit, and a children's center. It's part of Marion Medical Center, and it took 2 years to build. The nursing care facility and children's center will be open in September, and the adult health center will be open at the end of the year. Still ahead for us tonight, going above and beyond to ensure the Pope gets a good night's sleep and digging up a colorful past in Santa Barbara.
It's been said, love is blind. And when it comes to the cost of cars, that may be true. So to ensure you get the performance you paid for, insist on high-octane Chevron Supreme with Tech Relief. Cleans complete fuel intake systems. Chevron Supreme, because people who use premium really can't afford to buy anything less.
Two all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled onions on a patty, special sauce, big all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled onions on a patty, special sauce.
If you're having a Big Mac attack right now, proceed to McDonald's immediately.
And right now, get a Big Mac, bonus fries, and a large Coke Classic for just $2.89. Quarter Pounder and McDLT sandwich combos are also available at McDonald's.
It's that time of year again. Time to save on back-to-school supplies at Target. Like 70-count notebooks for just 25 cents each. Shiny portfolios, 49 cents each. And Crayola 48-count crayons and markers, $1.39 each. Also, Casio calculators, Uniball and Razor Point pens, school bags,
Canon typewriters, typing paper, colored pencils, Scotch tape, construction paper, erasable markers, 12-inch rulers, Commodore computers, scissors, compasses, Bic pens, erasers, notebooks.
In fact, Target's got everything you need for going back to school. And then some. Target, your back-to-school headquarters.
Okay, Nose, go check it out. Nose can smell a stinky roach spray a block away.
Not this one. Now, Raid Ant and Roach Killer has a new lighter scent.
All clear.
So it's easier on you, tough as ever on roaches.
Hey, Nose, what smells so good? Who knows? Uh-oh.
Raid Ant and Roach Killer kills bugs dead. Now with a new lighter scent.
In Geneva today, a major step toward a new arms agreement. A new American proposal is on the table, a proposal significantly relaxing requirements for verification. All along, the United States has demanded to be allowed on site to be sure the Soviets are living up to their end of any arms control bargain. It's been a real stumbling block to any U.S.-Soviet agreement. According to the State Department, this new proposal does not totally eliminate verification. They call it a simplification of previous offers. Both sides now say an accord is possible by year's end. U.S. Congressman Leon Panetta is in San Luis Obispo tonight. Congress is in recess until September 7th. Panetta says he agrees with the new congressional report that severely criticizes the MX missile. The MX is tested at Vandenberg Air Force Base, but the Air Force has put off further testing. The congressman says the Pentagon is trying to rush things.
So I just think the American public needs to learn the lesson from the MX and from the B-1 and from Star Wars, that before we invest literally billions of dollars in these systems, we need to ask more questions, and we're not doing it.
Panetta also talked about oil development along the Central Coast. He says it's important that the nation develop a balanced energy policy and that local communities have a say in future development. A little past development has given folks in Santa Barbara something new to do. Archaeologists and California Conservation Corps workers started excavating the area beside the historic Presidio last July. Since that time, crews have found pieces of ceramic foundations, a series of post holes, and a courseway to a cooking area.
Principally, it's to gather enough information to help the Santa Barbara Trust with the eventual reconstruction of the entire Presidio, and also to help us understand the lifeways and means in which the people lived here.
When this phase of the dig concludes in a couple of weeks, a proposal will be made for more digging. The second phase would start this fall and would last about 6 months. Archaeology of another kind, the salvage team bringing up artifacts from the Titanic is accused of being grave robbers for disturbing the rest of hundreds of people who died when the ship sank. Not so, say team members. In fact, at a news conference today, they told their detractors none of the treasures they bring up will be sold. They say they'll be put on display in museums. Last week, a 3-man French-American crew found a leather bag containing coins, jewels, and banknotes, an unopened safe, and some vintage 1898 champagne. Coming up next in weather, Mike McCartney fills us in on some major flooding in Europe, and of course he has a look at the week's weather.
Something new now, something pure. Canada Dry Seltzers. Pure sparkling water with a squeeze of real juice. Calorie-free. Salt-free. Sugar-free. Light and healthy. Because seltzer's smart. Pure Canada Dry Seltzers.
It's a blowout day!
$5,000 rebate.
3.9% financing! Cashback! 3.9% double rebate!
It's time for some straight talk about a straight deal from your Central Coast Toyota dealers. Right now, you can make the best deals of the year on any of 19 Toyota cars and trucks under $10,000. And just for taking a test drive, you could win a cruise to Mexico for 2. Your Central Coast Toyota dealer has the details and the great deals. Don't miss the boat. See your Central Coast Toyota dealer now.
Central Coast Plaza checks in, bringing the first enclosed mall to San Luis Obispo. Featuring over 70 stores for your shopping and dining pleasure. There's the latest fashions, gifts and specialty items, live radio, tasty treats, and much more. Join in the grand opening festivities starting this Thursday at the all-new Central Coast Plaza, anchored by Gottschalk's and the Park Suite. Central Coast Plaza. Check it out.
The time for refrigeration savings is now with great refrigeration rebates at Circuit City. This Amana refrigerator with rebates of $75 from SCE and $50 from Amana, only $499.97. This Whirlpool refrigerator with a $75 SCE rebate, just $1124.97. And that's only the beginning. Refrigeration rebates at Circuit City, the intelligent choice.
We've had a great couple of days here on the Central Coast weather-wise, and nice here
It's
to...
looking real nice around here. Unfortunately, not the same over in Chicago, for example. 14 inches of rain in August alone. I mean, August isn't even over. 14 inches
And they never
of
get
rain.
rain in August? Or...
No, they get rain in August, but that's 3 times the amount they usually get. And just put it in perspective, we get 19 for the entire year.
That's amazing. Is it going to stop, or what's
No, they have at least 1 more day, possibly 2 more days of hard rainfall in Chicago. Get out the arc. Let's take a look and see what we have around the area. High temperatures today look like this. San Luis Obispo 75, 73 in both Santa Barbara and Santa Maria. Atascadero had 80, Paso Robles had 84. Currently, outside, we have Paso Robles with 59. It's cooling off quickly, folks. Clear skies, San Luis Obispo 61 with scattered cloud cover, possibility of some fog as the dew point and the temperature are getting a little bit closer. Santa Maria, same thing, 57, partly cloudy. 54 is the dew point there. Santa Barbara, 60 and clear. barometer is 30.01. There is some haze and fog reported, however, just on the outskirts of Santa Barbara. As you can tell over my shoulder, there is some fog and haze that will be moving in. This is the marine layer that has developed over the last 24 hours. If you remember yesterday's map, it was nice and clear. Well, we have tapped into some subtropical moisture. It has formed this eddy. Basically, there's a low-pressure system down here, a Catalina eddy. It circulated some moisture up here, drew it all up, and formed a nice thick marine layer that produced the fog and the low clouds we will be seeing tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, we're not expecting the Tascadero Paso Robles to see the fog and low clouds like they've been seeing over the past few mornings. As a matter of fact, it should clear up there, and temperatures should start to go up there. Things will heat up nicely, thank you. In the North County, they're calling for temperatures right around 90 degrees tomorrow. They were only in the 80s, so it'll be upper 80s tomorrow, maybe even 90s come Thursday. Things are going to warm up. We won't see quite as much fog on the coast as we saw today in Morro Bay and Pismo Beach. We should see some patchy fog, but there will be fog nonetheless. Now, the folks over in Europe were wishing that's all they had to deal with was fog, because in Switzerland, Belgium, and Italy, more than 17,000 people have to have been evacuated from their homes. As a matter of fact, 17,000 people just from northern Italy alone had to leave their homes due to the heavy floodwaters. The massive flooding has continued across most of Europe due to the torrential downfall of rain. All over in Moscow, the same situation. Heavy rains and cool temperatures have delayed the harvesting of crops, but down in India, they've been having a drought. So internationally, weather, whew, what a mess. We, however, are sitting very pretty. We'll see clear skies in the late morning, early afternoon hours. Temperatures in San Luis Obispo will be approaching the 75-degree mark. In Santa Maria, about 74, 73 or so. Santa Barbara, about the same thing. In the North County, we're looking for temperatures to creep up near the 90-degree mark. Down here in the desert Southwest, we're going to see very hot weather. 101 is expected. We'll see warm weather, but clouds starting to move in. Pacific Northwest, rain showers continue across most of the Midwest. Rain for Chicago again, folks, and Iowa had quite a bit of rain today, too. Breezy in the North County tonight. That will soon dissipate if it hasn't already. Highs tomorrow between 89 to 93. The winds will come up and cool that off. In San Luis Obispo tonight, low clouds giving way to sunny skies by late morning, highs 71 to 80. In Santa Barbara, we're looking for some fog tonight, but mostly sunny by late morning, highs 73 to 77. No advisories on the marine forecast, winds variable at 15 knots. Our extended forecast looks like this. A slow warming trend beginning tomorrow, especially in the North County, will slowly push those temperatures up near 90 degrees. We'll see some patchy stratus clouds on the coast throughout the entire period. Slightly warmer on Friday near the coast, about 74 degrees, mostly sunny in the afternoon. So it really looks like it's going to be a pretty nice couple of days.
Makes you feel lucky living here, doesn't it?
Oh, compared to Chicago, well, just compared to Chicago anyway, whether it's raining or not, I'd rather live here.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Mike. We'll see you later on. Coming up next in sports, Mitch Massey will introduce us to Cal Poly's new quarterback. Plus, he'll show us if baseball's longest hitting streak is still hot.
My heroes have always been cowboys, and they still are the same.
There's only one gene endorsed by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Wrangler Cowboy Cut jeans. Original style. Authentic colors.
Your Southern California Ford dealer would like to give you one last look at the 1987 Fords. It's clearance time, which brings us to a law none of us can escape. The law of supply and demand. As long as you get to your Ford dealer while the supply is still there, you get to demand.
When you're going back to school, a little extra style doesn't have to cost a little extra. Because Mervyn's has the latest Bugle Boy pants and shirts on sale. At Mervyn's, you can get the newest Bugle Boy colors and the hottest Bugle Boy looks, all for a price that may surprise you.
You're my kind of place. Thank you,
John, you're late for work.
Call in sick for me.
You're already in trouble.
I can't even think with this hangover.
You need help.
I know.
If you went to Schick, you could be back week after next.
That fast?
Schick is different. It's medical treatment to lose the craving.
Let's go.
Schick hospitals also treat cocaine and marijuana dependencies.
Chalk another one up for the Giants. They boost their lead in the West.
They've already sold their playoff tickets, and they're one game closer to reaching the playoffs after tonight's win. It was a night the Giants put a game between themselves and their closest pursuers to lead the West by 1.5 now. Of course, their closest pursuers, the Houston Astros, now 1.5 back. Candy Maldonado with the Giants trailing 2-1 will quickly tie it. This ball game is tied 2-2 against Philadelphia. Then in the 8th, Kevin Gross, sandpaper or not, hangs a curve to Chris Spire. You tell me, is it fair or foul? It's fair. It hits the foul pole. A home run, 3-2 was the final. How about the Dodgers and the New York Mets? In the first, John Shelby. He's been the brightest thing for the Dodgers this year. A man on, a 2-run home run, and that's all Fernando would need in this one. He walked 8, but he struck out 13, and he gave up 4 hits. He strikes out. Mojo, Hojo, whatever you want to call him, with the bases loaded. Then he helps himself in the 8th. The RBI single. Dodgers win it by a score of 3-1 over the Mets. St. Louis now leads the East by 5.5. Cincinnati has lost 5 in a row. San Diego wins with 5. Atlanta and the Cubs were rained out. Angels didn't lose any ground in the West. They didn't gain any either. They were able to stay right where they are, 4.5 back. They beat the New York Yankees by a score of 5-1. Let's go to the highlights for you, because this is what we have. That's right. Not a scuffed baseball, just a lonely baseball, but yet there is a scuffed manager. Lou Piniella gets hit with the foul ball. Then it's John Candelaria's night. He pitched 8 innings, gave up only 6 hits and 1 sacrifice fly. Angels leading 1-0 in the 8th. Wally Joyner, a liner off Don Mattingly. He'll get a phone call from George Steinbrenner. Macklemore scores. 5-1 was the final score. To the scoreboard for you. Oakland outslugs Baltimore, and Detroit wins at Minnesota. Not too many teams do that. And not too many players do this. It took until his 3rd at bat, but Paul Molitor's streak has now reached 39 straight games. He did it in the 6th inning. He will get a sharp single to right field, just against Cleveland. One more. Base hit tomorrow night will tie Ty Cobb for 4th place on the all-time consecutive hit list for games at 40. Set back in 1911. He continues to go. Milwaukee beats Cleveland. That's secondary. Toronto doubles the score on Seattle. Steve Howe gets his first win in the majors since I think I was 10 years old. And Boston beats the White Sox 7-3. Softball game of the week, a team that does a lot of talking, the BSers, literally, that is their name, taking on those party animals from the Graduates. We take you to the softball diamond. That's Fred Dielgat. Singles in Angelo Soria, and the BSers, no BSing, they lead it by a score of 3-0. Then Fred McCowan with the RBI single as he waits for the pitch. Let's give him one more than just an RBI. Let's give him 2 RBI. That makes it 5-0. Then the BSers have the defense. They turn the double play, or should we say just Susanna Kabantag, unassisted. The BSers, as I said, no BS. They beat the Graduates. There are Tribals by a score of 10-4. Football, the Rio Grande Eagles have steadily improved over the last 2 years, and in '87, they just might be the team to beat in the Northern League. Reason being, well, they've made the playoffs the last 2 years, last year being 6-5. John Huss starting his 6th season, and he has a great quarterback to work with, Jamie Martin, the senior. But yet, this is not going to be a one-dimensional team with Martin just throwing the football.
I think people think we throw the ball a lot more than we actually do. I think we'll be fine running the ball. Our offensive line, majority of them are inexperienced, but they did play some last year.
Honestly, tell me, if you don't challenge for the league title, it's going to be a disappointment.
Well, you always have that as a goal, but certainly we would be unrealistic not to think we're in the hunt for it, and be a disservice to the kids not to point towards that.
Here's our schedule for you. Wednesday, tomorrow, we'll look at San Luis Obispo. Then Thursday, Santa Maria, followed by Rigetti on Friday. Then next Monday, Lompoc, before we move to the Los Padres League. Cal Poly, number 3, is Tom Sullivan. He'll be their starting quarterback, the JC transfer from Sac City, where he led them to a 10-0-1 record, threw for 1,900 yards and 12 TDs. He won the job in spring, which makes it easier now.
It's a lot easier coming in number 1 because you get all the reps and you have all the practice, and it gives you confidence knowing that you're number 1. A senior front coming up, all of our offensive line is all seniors, so that's, that's a good positive thing right there. Then we have wide receivers that can really catch the ball, and everything looks good.
And he's just a great all-around athlete. He's going to be a good one.
All right, good for him. Thanks, Mitch, and we'll be right back.
The man hasn't changed.
What do you think?
The talk hasn't changed.
Men are so emotionally constipated, they have to drink beer to talk to each other.
The guests haven't changed.
It says, excuse me, but I feel this way. May I have permission?
The audience hasn't changed.
What is that?
All right.
Only the time has changed. Starting Monday, September 7th, Donahue moves to 4 o'clock weekdays.
And we hope you'll join us.
If you're paying more than $7.50 a month for checking, you're paying too much and getting too little. Wells Fargo comes through with the Gold account. Unlimited check writing, no minimum balance, free personalized checks, special loan discounts, and more. 10 valuable banking services for just $7.50 a month. The Gold account. More checking, more banking for less. Wells Fargo comes through.
There's a spirit growing all across the USA, even getting stronger. Spirit of the new ERA, a feeling of pride about what we do, helping make your American dream come true.
We can help make your American dream come true, faster and easier.
Helping make your American dream come true, the new ERA.
And finally tonight, a story about a little boy who was in the right place at the right time, just in time to help make a miracle.
And I let out a yell and said, help. And Bobby woke up and...
It was Cindy's birthday, and she was in for a double surprise. 2 weeks early, she was giving birth to twins at home. And the baby's 9-year-old brother, Bobby, would be the hero. He immediately called 911.
I was holding the phone so tight my knuckles started turning white. They told me to find some towels and get a sheet because she'll be undressing, and the towels for the babies. And so I ran in. I couldn't find any other sheets, so I just ran in my room and tore one off my bed.
I was panicky. He was calm. He told me, Mom, I'm going to get sick. And I'm going, oh, no, you don't. You can't get sick now. I need you.
Just as the first baby was being born, the paramedics arrived to finish the job, followed by the kid's father. It was a true family affair.
And she was on the floor. I thought, thank God I vacuumed the carpet yesterday. And the first baby was being born. The head was already emerging. And so I got to be there in time to watch the birth.
Any advice if this were to happen to any other families out there?
I'd advise it not to happen.
What are you going to feel like on the first day of school when everybody talks about their summer vacation? What are you going to talk about?
I'll say I delivered 2 twins.
For now, the spotlight's on Bobby, and he's loving every minute of it because he knows in no time at all eyes will be on the twins. Cheryl Parker for NBC News, Phoenix.
And that wraps it up for us on this Tuesday. Thanks for watching, and be sure and tune in for Corey Warren tomorrow on Action News at 5 o'clock. Good night.